Hola, ¿qué tal estáis? Hello, how are you? This is the first episode of 10, which will be the podcast that we're going to be doing, the Spanish English podcast. And so we're going to go around and everybody's going to say their name, their grade level, and something, interesting about them or something that they like.
Okay, so I'm Diego. I'm a
John.
junior. 11. Be quiet. I'm an 11th grade junior.
I'm Jonathan Bias.
Mhm.
I'm also a junior.
I'm Diana. I'm also a junior.
I'm Adaya and I'm also a junior.
I'm Yave, and I'm a junior. I would say in Spanish, Yave, en grado junior.
And I'm Davide and I'm a junior. Something interesting about everybody?
Something interesting, Jonathan.
Something interesting.
Something interesting, Adaya.
Ya ve.
Something interesting.
I guess we're all boring.
I'm
all
always
right,
hungry.
let's-
That's what I know.
All right, let's start. We're going to set it up in 3 sections on this episode, and the first section is going to be pronouns, and so I'm going to start. So the first pronoun is yo, and yo in English is I.
The next pronoun is tú, and tú is you in informal.
The next one is usted, which is you but formal.
The next one is él, ella, he, and her.
The next one is nosotros, which is we. And please note that for masculine it is nosotros, and for feminine is nosotras.
Then we have vosotros and vosotras. It's you plural, it is informal and mainly used in Spain. Remember, vosotros is masculine and vosotras is feminine.
And then there's ustedes, which is you guys or you in plural, which can be used formally and informally.
The last one is ellos, ellas, which is they, and one is masculine and one is feminine.
All right, now we're going to move to the second section. And we're going to be covering 20 verbs, and we're going to start off with the first verb, and we're going to conjugate it with all the conjugations in Spanish.
Okay, the first one is abrir, which yo abro, which is I open. Tú abres, which is you open. Él, ella, usted abre. He, she opens. Nosotros, nosotras abrimos, which is we open. Ellos, ellas, ustedes abren, which is they open.
And then vosotras y vosotros abréis, and the verb abrir is to open, like she said. The next verb is beber.
And for beber, which is to drink, yo bebo, I drink. Tú bebes, you drink. Él bebe, ella bebe, y usted bebe. For he drinks, she drinks, and you drink in the formal version. Nosotros bebemos, nosotras bebemos, we drink. And then ellos beben, ellas beben, ustedes beben, which is they drink in masculine and feminine, and the you guys.
For vosotros y vosotras bebéis. And the verb, obviously, to drink. So, you all drink, bebéis.
La siguiente palabra is the next word is caminar, which is to walk. There is yo camino, which is I walk. Tú caminas, you walk. Él camina, ella camina, usted camina, which is he walks, she walks, and then in formal way, nosotros caminamos, nosotras caminamos. We walk, one is masculine, one is feminine. Then we go, ellos caminan, ellas caminan, ustedes caminan. They all mean they walk.
Remember, ustedes is the formal of people, so you. Then you have vosotros y vosotras. That is for you all. It is informal, and it would be vosotros camináis, and it means you all walk.
And make sure to take note the fact that of the 3 words, one ends in IR, another ends in ER, and the last one ends in AR, which are the 3 types of endings for verbs.
Also keep in mind that not 100% of Spanish verbs conjugate like this. There are some verbs that are irregular, and on the second podcast we will be talking about these irregular verbs.
So, So abrir, notice how it ends in IR. So how do we conjugate that? So for each word. So let's just say another word. For example, salir. How do you conjugate that?
Salir is an irregular verb, so I'll conjugate. I can't really conjugate it because it is regular. So another regular verb would be vivir, and that would be yo vivo, tú vives, él, ella, usted vive, nosotros, nosotras vivimos, vosotros, vosotras vivís, y ellos y ellas viven, y ustedes viven.
Okay. So I guess what we're really trying to say is, for IR verbs, you conjugate the ending to different letters, right?
Yes.
So for yo, you put in, let's see, you put a O. For tú, you put es at the end of the verb. So let me go back. Abrir, you remove the IR and put O if you want to say yo abro. And then if you want to say you open, tú abres, which you remove the RR and put ES. So continue off on that.
Another thing to know about Spanish conjugation is that in English, we'd always have to say I open. However, in Spanish, you can just not say yo abro, you can just say abro, because every conjugation is different. You don't necessarily need to put the pronoun there. But it is useful, and you will hear people saying it both ways.
Okay, bien.
All right, now we're going to go over some other verbs that you might need to know.
First example would be comer, which means to eat.
The next one, like correr, which is to run.
The other one is vivir, that is to live.
And there is viajar, which is to travel.
There is estar, which is to be.
To do is hacer.
Volver is to return.
Ver is to see.
Ser is to be.
To hablar is to talk.
Salir is to leave.
Sentarse is to sit down.
Poder is to be able to.
Acostarse is to lay down or to go to bed.
Querer is to want.
Levantarse is to get up.
Comer is to eat.
Now, another thing that you might have noticed is some of the verbs are reflexive, meaning that they end with se. We're going to go over those verbs in another lesson, in another podcast, so watch out for that. However, they do conjugate the same, just that you bring, when we get to it, you'll see how they conjugate, but they're not as difficult as they seem. All right, now we're going to be moving into our third section, which is some common salutations
Greetings.
that we have, greeting salutations that we have in English.
So first example would be hola, which means hello.
Next one would be buenos dias, which is good morning.
The other one would be saludo, that is hi.
Greetings.
And then there is muy buenas, which is like, what's up?
There's buenas noches or buenas tardes, which is good night or good evening.
¿Cómo estás? How are you?
Que gusto verte, which is like
Nice to see you.
nice to see you,
Yep.
and that's formal.
We also have que pasa, like what's up.
Yep.
Then we have tío. Tío is just like it's a way to say bro.
Yeah, it's an informal way to say like. What's
Every
up, bro?
country will have like a different way to say this. So like in Puerto Rico, what would you say?
Que lo que.
Yeah.
Que la que.
Eh,
Pana.
Que la que.
¿Qué pasa? No es así,
Que
pana.
pasa.
Pana.
Pana.
Yes, you do say pana if you were in Puerto Rico.
So
Really.
there are different ways. Like in Mexico, they say way. So like, in every country, they have a different way of saying it. But in Spain, it's tío.
The other word is adios, that is goodbye.
Then there is hasta pronto, hasta luego, hasta mañana, which is like saying see you later, or see you then, see you tomorrow, just, see you sometime soon.
And there's cuídate, which is take care of yourself.
Then you have un abrazo. This is informal and it's a hug. It's just basically a way to say bye to somebody.
And then the last one would be un besito adios, which is also informal.
What does it mean?
A goodbye kiss.
Goodbye kiss. Yeah, goodbye kiss is mostly,
My bad.
well, in his Hispanic countries, whenever you greet someone, you do two kiss on each side of the head. That is a formal, nice way of greeting someone. It's most commonly known again amongst the women, with other women or grown-ups. It's not known to be amongst boys or men. So, that it?
Diego wants to say something
About what?
about one of the verbs. About one of the
One of the greetings?
Yes, one of the greetings.
I don't know. What do you want me to say?
I mean, is there anyone that you use a lot or one that you don't see heard often?
Bueno, yo no escucho a alguien decir un abrazo.
They just do it.
Yeah, you don't really say un abrazo. You
You
do
kind of
it.
just do it. It's just more like
Yeah.
an action.
So I guess
Yeah,
the
you-
last two are actions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last two are actions. They're not really things
I
you
see that a
say.
lot in movies. They go like, un abrazo.
Normally,
It's kind of like hinted whenever
Yeah.
you're gonna do something.
Yes.
like that.
Un abrazo a tu familia.
I hear it a lot, especially after a very, very long conversation and it's online, like a debate or something. At the end, normally they'll say un abrazo, un besito, algo así, something like that. But that's something I hear. That might be something typical from the Spanish that I know and might not be as common in Latin American Spanish. Also, we have a little bit more time. So if we go back to the verbs, how about we all pick a verb and we all come up with a sentence in Spanish with that verb and then translate that in English so people see those verbs in action. Please make sure the sentences are in present tense.
Okay. Who would like to begin?
I'll go first. So for comer, it would be a mí me gusta comer de todo, which means I like to eat everything.
So, I'm gonna use correr, which is to run. Yo cojo cada día a la escuela, which is I run every day to school.
So there is another verb which is coger, but in Puerto Rico, as they don't some people don't pronounce the R rolling, they will say cojo. However, in the majority of Spanish-speaking dialects, it would be yo corro. Make sure to roll the R, corro. Yo cojo is like yo cojo un lápiz. I take a pencil. Yo cojo un lápiz. However, in the majority of dialects in Latin American Spanish, coger has other meanings, and that's why they're giggling right now, that aren't as appropriate for the podcast, and so we're not going to go into those. However, let's use the verb salir. Adaya, can you come up with a sentence? Diana, can you come up with a sentence with the verb salir?
Let's see. For salir, yo salí hace 2 días. I went out about 2 days ago.
That is past tense.
Yes, that is past tense.
If we're going to use a regular form of the verb salir, because I said it is irregular and partly it is so, nosotros salimos de la casa, we left the house.
So we're gonna do past tense another podcast, right?
Yes,
Yes.
we'll do past tense in other podcasts. So if you're paying attention, there's a lot of things that will be happening in other podcasts.
So at the end of the podcast, we are gonna talk about what's our goal moving forward and why we're gonna do another podcast, right?
Yes.
All right.
All right. We're going to move over to the next section. We made a little mistake, but actually the interviews are going to be done in Spanish. So this would be like an advanced section for those of y'all who already speak Spanish. This will be something that's more for your level. And so the 3 people that are going to be interviewed are going to be Diana, Jave, and Diego. And the interview will be conducted by Adaya, myself, and Jonathan. We did 15 minutes. Very good. All right, so now we're going to move into the Spanish interviews, and the Spanish interviews will be with Diana, Jave,
Hola.
and Diego.
Hello.
Pues vamos a empezar las entrevistas, los vamos a hacer en español. Así que, ¿cómo estáis vosotros?
Muy bien.
Bien.
Bien, bien. Vamos a empezar con Diana y dinos un poco sobre tu cultura.
En Guatemala, donde mis padres nacieron, ellos tienen trajes típicos que siempre usan, que son tradicionales, y también tenemos un pájaro nacional y se llama el quetzal. Más de la cultura, obvio que tenemos la comida hispana.
¿Y ustedes tienen cosas que son solamente para ustedes, como los reyes para nosotros en Puerto Rico?
De lo que yo sepa ahorita, no. Celebramos casi lo mismo que todos los demás hacen, de lo que yo sé.
Buenas preguntas.
¿Y has visitado a Guatemala una vez en tu vida?
No, jamás he ido, no he podido, no tengo tiempo, y también no quiero viajar sola, prefiero ir con mi mamá.
Eso es muy lindo. Y
¿Ustedes tienen comidas típicas de ahí? ¿O no?
Hay uno que sí, es casi igual como el mole, si ustedes conocen a eso.
No.
Se llama pepián, si ustedes no lo han escuchado. Ese es un ejemplo de las comidas tradicionales que tenemos.
¿Y qué es?
Es como mole, si ustedes no saben qué es el mole.
bueno,
Mole.
y también una pregunta, que cuando empezaste la escuela, yo sé que pues no podías hablar inglés, así que dinos tu experiencia aprendiendo inglés.
Como mis padres no saben cómo hablar el inglés, tenía que aprender a hablar el idioma de español cuando estaba creciendo. So, cuando empecé la escuela, me tenían que poner en un programa para que me enseñaran el inglés. No fue la mejor experiencia, pero aprendí el inglés. No fue fácil.
Bueno, y ahora vamos a transicionar y hablar de Llave. Y Llave actualmente no ha dominado el inglés por completo.
Está bien, pobrecito.
Qué bárbaro.
Al menos ahora no lo entiende.
Bueno, sí. Sí.
Pero hay cosas del inglés que no ha dominado por completo y no pasa nada, que está aprendiendo. Pero Llave, cuéntanos tu experiencia aprendiendo inglés en los Estados Unidos.
Ha sido bueno, aprendiendo cosas nuevas. Desde que he llegado de Puerto Rico. Y no sé, es una experiencia muy buena para la vida.
Bueno, y dinos un poquito de tu país, Puerto Rico.
Bueno, pues mi país, Puerto Rico, muy tradicional.
Está bien.
Está bien.
Está bien.
Está bien, habla. Dinos.
No te
todo.
preocupes. Está bien haciendo nervioso. No te preocupes.
No llores, está bien.
No llores.
No, tenemos muchas tradiciones, somos un país muy rumbero.
País.
Sí, es un
Territorio.
país. Es un país, es territorio y país a la misma vez.
Es un territorio.
Tenemos
Ya.
un equipo
De
para la
los
Olimpiada, es
Estados-
un país.
Es cierto,
Es un
tenemos el Team
territorio
Rubio todavía. so,
de los Estados Unidos y no es su país independiente.
Exactamente, todavía somos.
Dependiente.
Exacto. Básicamente. Tenemos muchas tradiciones, pues como dije, es un país muy fiestero, hace muchas fiestas siempre. Para todo hay fiesta, hasta por el gobernador que se vaya hay fiesta. Algo que tenemos Algo que tenemos en común que ningún casi país celebra es el Día de los Reyes Magos. Y es una tradición que crecimos, que es cuando tú pones la hierba debajo del árbol para que venga el camello y coma y te deje los regalos.
Oh, sí, me gusta ese.
Sí, es una representación de cuando el niño Jesús nació y vinieron los Reyes Magos a traerle los
¿Le dieron
regalos.
pasto?
Sí, le tienes que dar pasto porque si no se van con hambre y no pueden dar regalos. Esa es la tradición.
Al niño.
No. Sí. Ok, serio. ¿Qué más puedo decir?
¿Y te gusta la comida, esta comida de puertorriqueña?
Claro.
Dime algunos ejemplos.
Te voy a dar uno. Te voy a dar un lechón asado con arroz con gandules. Es uno de los platos típicos allá cuando se hace fiesta, como el día de despedida de año, el día de Navidad. Lechón puro.
Ujú.
Sí.
Y bueno, tanto que estamos, le voy a preguntar algo a él. La cultura de Puerto Rico es diferente a otros países, como el lenguaje. Tú dices algunas palabras diferentes.
Sí, tenemos nuestro propio lenguaje porque básicamente en Puerto Rico todo es como que un mix de inglés con español. No se dice hamburguesa allá, se dice hamburger. O no se dice un perro caliente, no se dice perro caliente, se dice hot dog. Hot dog. So, sí, no tenemos. Y somos.
Spanglish.
Tenemos un
Spanglish.
Spanglish, exacto. Un Spanglish.
O sea que
Sí.
están mezclados los dos.
Estamos mezclados, entonces no pronunciamos bien la R, que es algo normal. Cuando alguien no pronuncia la R, ya sabes que es de Puerto Rico, como
la S.
carro, ni la S,
Entonces,
se comen los acentos.
Danos un ejemplo de cómo dicen la R, la R.
Cajo,
Cajo.
ajá.
Como se está.
Como si
tú
fuese
hubieras-
una jota.
Jo. Ok,
Como si te estuvieras
sí,
escrachando, algo así.
sí.
Bueno,
O sea que
y
ese punto es como notar un puertorriqueño y diferenciar.
bueno, vamos a continuar hablando de los puertorriqueños con Diego. Ahora,
Mi padre
¿cómo estás,
Diego.
Diego?
Ay, estoy muy bien, gracias.
Bueno, y,
Dile, Diego, estoy muy bueno.
¿y cuál es tu plato favorito? Como ya sabemos, el plato favorito de Llave.
A mí me gusta el bistec con ajo blanco y habichuela.
Ay, no me dejas hambre, chico.
Eso está muy bueno, eso está muy bueno. Personalmente a mí me gusta. ¿A ti te gusta, verdad?
Sí, claro, eso es lo que acabo de decir.
Ujú, yo sé por eso.
Ujú.
¿Y cuándo mudaste de Puerto Rico con tu
Yo me
familia?
mudé para acá cuando yo tenía 7 años.
7 años. Y
Tú no hables, Johnny. Tú te mudaste también como por ahí. ¿Qué edad tú te mudaste?
yo me mudé a Puerto Rico a los
Ah, Puerto Rico o de Puerto Rico.
a Estados Unidos a los 8 años.
Ujú.
También.
8 años, sí.
Ujú.
Sí, básicamente cuando...
Pero
vamos
bueno,
a ver.
pero bueno. ¿Tú sabías inglés en Puerto Rico?
Yo sabía hamburger y hot dog. Eso es lo que yo sabía.
¿Ves? No soy el único.
Así
O
que
sea
no te
que-
enseñaron
Yo
inglés.
tuve que aprender el inglés por completo en segundo grado.
Tuviste el estilo Dayana. Cogiendo clases para el inglés. ¿Verdad?
Sí, bueno.
Para aprender inglés.
Sí.
Bueno, dinos algo interesante sobre ti.
Vamos a ver. Yo estaba en la banda por los últimos 6 años. Sí, 6 años. Ujú.
La banda.
La banda.
La
La
banda.
donde se tocan los instrumentos.
Ay, Dios mío, señor.
No,
Eso.
instrumentar, canciones.
¿Y qué tocas?
La flauta.
La flauta.
La
muy
flauta.
Eres una flautista. Y bueno, ¿alguien más tiene algo que decir?
Bueno, ustedes no dicen naranja, dices
Decimos China.
una china, como
Pero no
Para
China
el
de
color,
China.
para la fruta y para el país. Todo lo
qué
mismo.
interesante.
China,
Y no
color
dicen
chinita.
frijoles, dicen
Nosotros decimos habichuela.
habichuelas, eso.
Sí, yo digo garbanzos.
Entonces, Lápide.
A ver, vamos a hacer la parte en inglés. Vamos a seguir hablando en español y vamos a empezar con los pronombres en inglés. Y bueno, Adaya, empieza.
Ok, el primer pronombre es yo, que es I.
El siguiente es you, which is tú y usted.
Nota que no hay una distinción dependiendo de la formalidad. Así que si yo estoy hablando a una persona mayor, yo diría you. Y si yo estoy hablando a un infante, yo diría you. También tenemos he, she, it. Él y ella. It es diferente. No existe el pronombre it en español. It es un pronombre neutro que se utiliza para referirse a una cosa, animal o idea previamente mencionados o fácilmente identificables en una oración.
Wow.
Qué detalle. No sabía eso. Bueno saberlo.
Bueno, saber.
Tenemos ahora a nosotros y nosotras. That is we.
Después es ustedes, que es you.
Plural.
Y después está they, que en español sería ellos o ellas.
También tenemos verbos en inglés.
Y algunos verbos no se conjugan de la manera normal, así que en el segundo podcast nosotros vamos a explicar cómo se conjugan los verbos irregulares en inglés.
Y hay un montón, ¿verdad?
Ujú.
Hay un montón de verbos irregulares en inglés.
Muchos, sí.
Pero las conjugaciones, vamos a empezar con lo normal, cómo se conjuga normalmente.
La conjugación es muy simple en inglés. Solamente tienes que poner el pronombre al principio del verbo o palabra. Por ejemplo, I, which is yo, I work, yo trabajo. You work, tú trabajas. He, she, it works. Él, ella o eso trabaja. We work, nosotros trabajamos. You work, tú trabajas. They work, ellos trabajan.
De it, el pronombre it, no es eso. Pero a veces sí se puede decir así, en inglés se puede traducir así. También hacerlo, do it, pero como pronombre es como cuando no tienes como el gato, no sé, camina y después no sé
Como it walk.
qué hace, camina, el gato camina. También podemos decir it walks, o camina, refiriendo al gato sin decir el gato, it walks. Así que the cat walks, camina sin nada, it walks. Así que a veces vamos a poner it en lugar de referirnos a un animal, objeto, como os decía antes. También es importante reconocer que I walk es imprescindible. Tú no puedes simplemente decir walk, work, walk, lo que sea. Tienes que poner I walk, you work, I work, you work, he, she, it works, siempre. Bueno, vamos a hablar de algunos verbos más. 20 verbos en inglés.
To be, que es said.
To have es tener. Más bien.
To want, que significa en español querer.
To like is gustar.
To love es amar.
To feel es sentir, sentirse.
To travel es viajar.
To eat es comer.
To drink sería tomar.
To think sería pensar.
To believe would be creer.
To sleep, dormir.
To dream, soñar.
To walk es caminar.
To run sería correr.
To leave sería ir.
To arrive sería llegar.
To do es hacer.
To dance, bailar.
To return, volver. La palabra Tú se utiliza antes de un verbo en forma infinitivo para indicar una acción futura, un propósito o una dirección, así como en otras construcciones gramaticales específicas.
También, aunque se dice tomar para to drink, la palabra más formal y más correcta es beber. Pero decir tomar significa
Más o
lo
menos,
mismo.
más o
Pero si yo digo to drink a train, no tiene sentido. Tienes que decir para tomar take. Tomar puede significar to drink, to take. Pero si vamos a ser más precisos, vamos a decir to drink, beber. Bueno, ahora vamos a hacer algunos saludos en inglés. Vamos a empezar con hello, que es hola.
And there's hi, también hay hi there, que es hola, también es una otra forma de decir hola.
También hay good morning, which is buenos días.
Good afternoon, que significa buenas tardes.
Good evening, buenas noches.
Hey,
Hola.
Hey sería otra forma de decir hola.
Más informal, como qué tal. How are you? ¿Cómo estás?
what's up? ¿Qué pasa?
Una palabra informal.
Howdy. No sé qué es eso. Please.
Howdy es una manera muy informal de saludar a la gente. Es como que tal, es una palabra coloquial que se usa en el sur de Estados Unidos. No es una palabra que vais a utilizar mucho, pero sí existe.
You got a friend in me.
Greetings, que significa bienvenidos.
Exacto. Y vamos a hablar un poquito más de los verbos en inglés y vamos a hablar de algunos verbos regulares y cómo se conjugan. Por ejemplo, ya hemos hablado de la palabra to walk, que es caminar, y vamos a conjugarlo, Diego.
What, to walk?
Sí, es una...
To walk. So, en español o en inglés.
por supuesto en inglés.
So, to walk, you walk, I walk, he walks, she walks, they walk, we all walk.
Sí. Nota que yo escucho ese error un montón, pero no es he walk, she walk, it walk. Eso es un error muy común, muy básico que oigo un montón, pero es walks, he walks, she walks. Muy importante. Notadlo bien.
Who says he walk?
Bueno, también os quiero hablar del verbo to like. Vamos a hablar de este verbo en más profundidad cuando estamos hablando de verbos irregulares, pero nota que no se conjuga como el verbo en inglés. Así que no, y en español, disculpad. Por ejemplo, en español se dice,
A mí me gusta,
a mí me gusta.
a él le gusta, a ella le gusta.
Pero en inglés simplemente es I like. Como yo gusto. Que no tiene ningún sentido en español, pero es la manera que se dice en inglés, pero se conjuga, es un verbo regular, no se conjuga irregularmente, pero es diferente, se usa de manera diferente. Así que eso es todo por la sección de gramática y vamos a hacer entrevistas. Obviamente es inglés avanzado, así que vamos a estar hablando en inglés. Y ¿quién va a hacer la entrevista?
Okay, so let's interview Adaya first. Okay, she's like us. So when did you come? When did you move here, or were you born here?
No, I was not born here. I moved when I was around 7 or 8 in December. And I went to 2 schools in like a matter of a couple months. And I learned English from just the people around me. I just picked it up from being around other people that were speaking English, and I somehow understood it and just added both together, that like the English translations and the Spanish, and that's how I learned.
Okay.
That's nice.
Did you have any like struggles when you first moved here?
Yes, not only like understanding who could understand my Spanish and my English all like mixed up together, but also like I feel like all of us who had to move here also like financially we all like struggled because we didn't know what we were doing, and our parents, and then everyone trying to figure everything out. It was always a bit of a
Heavy on
struggle.
that.
Yeah.
Heavy on that.
No teníamos amigos.
No, we did not have
Like,
friends. We,
nothing,
no
we just
friends.
we were kind of just thrown into school and just good luck, learn English.
I mean, we did have ESOL.
Yeah, we did,
Let's not
yeah.
speak of that.
ESOL.
Yeah, but
Oh my
that wasn't
God.
always the
that
best
one
help.
class.
It was
that, like,
not always the best help. Yes.
No.
Whoa,
I think most of us. Most
Did
of us.
Esau help you?
ESOL?
Yes.
I mean, I wasn't in it, like I wasn't at class or something, but whenever we had to do essays, I got to have unlimited.
Oh, that is
time.
true. When we
That-
had
yeah,
our,
that
our
is-
And
state
so
testing,
when we did have testing,
Yeah.
I had unlimited time. Unlike other students had like 2 hours. to
okay,
do
but
tests.
in actually learning the language.
Actually learning the language, yeah, I learned. I mean, I was a little kid. I was
How old are
learning
you?
quick, not like
Oh, wait, you
quick,
said-
but like I was learning,
Uh huh.
and so
Esau,
it was really helpful.
the experience for Esau is different for everybody. Some of us have had bad experiences with it.
They took me out in the first year. I still couldn't speak English.
I still cannot speak English.
Well, in my experience, I had a very close friend, and she was like my translator. So, in a lot of things, she like translated to me like assignments and like what the teacher was saying, and so I could better understand, the lesson and the instructions. And yeah,
Okay.
well, learning English wasn't really that hard to me, but it was like challenging as a little kid, just thrown into English.
But it's different when you move here when you're smaller, because you tend to pick up things a lot more,
Yeah.
like just quicker and easier than when you're older. Like is taking you longer.
Hey, slow down.
Okay, I'm just
Slow down.
using an example, but like in general, like our parents, our parents didn't pick it up as fast as we did, or like their
Yes.
accents are
I mean, my
still
mom speak English, but my dad,
right. That's what I'm saying. Like you can still hear it, even if they've been here as long as we have. Like their accents are still.
Yeah, you can
still.
you can
hear the
you can see
Spanish-
that they're Puerto
Yeah, you can hear the Spanish in their
boy.
accent.
But now we're passing with Davide. Davide.
Davide.
The
Da-
opposite.
I know,
of
I
all
know,
of
I
us.
know. Davide speak English, but how you feel learning Spanish?
Well, it's a different experience because unlike the rest of y'all, I did not have to learn to speak
Yeah, because you were born in
Spanish by necessity. I wasn't like forced to leave or anything. I learned to speak well as a native. I didn't have any trouble speaking English. However, with Spanish, I've picked it up quite quickly. You'll notice throughout these interviews my copious grammar errors when I'm speaking. Well, obviously, as I'm not native and I don't speak with complete fluency. Well, you note these things.
That's
And
good.
how long did it take you to learn it?
Well, I'm still learning, so 2 years of learning.
How much would you say you like the language since learning it?
I didn't want to learn Spanish.
Oh.
I never really liked the language.
Wow.
I only liked the language after, well, being in a Spanish class, having to like learn a new language for the first time, and I really wanted to do well on my exams and stuff. I still remember to this day, I was complaining about not knowing the days of the week in Spanish. I remember saying it was the most difficult thing ever, and now I know all of the days of the week by heart. So, I mean, it's stuff like that. I really started to like Spanish when I learned about Spain, and that's really what changed me and helped me to improve.
Did that affect your accent whenever you started speaking in Spanish?
A lot.
Like after you picked it up, did it affect the way you sounded?
think-
According to people from Spain that I've talked to, they can't tell I'm from the United States when I'm speaking, but they know that I'm not Spanish. And when I listen to myself speaking, I know that as well. But I don't like to go back to your question, yes, my accent is very different, but it is not native.
Yes, I could tell. Based on, out of all of us, we all have a very similar accent, somewhat. Yours is completely different, so I was curious as to how it affected you.
Yeah, sometimes brings a lot of laughs.
Well, I mean, every accent has its own ups and downs. So like, there's some accents where they tend to speak very quickly, and because they don't say all of the letters, it is quite difficult to understand them. So it just depends on who's speaking, really.
That is true, since there are variants of Spanish, and depending where you grew up, and also depending on your household, your accent could be affected. And yours is very unique. I will be honest on that. I've never really
you can tell that
heard.
is Davide when
You can tell when he does talk. You can hear him from a mile away.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can all agree on
I
that.
feel like that's for both Spanish and English though.
Yeah.
That is true. I can agree with that.
But I feel like the type of Spanish he has,
It's very different.
like, that he chose to learn, it is different.
It's
and
like
then-
Spain.
It is.
Yeah, exactly.
It is Spain.
That's why I'm
Spanish.
saying, like, there's not many people here from Spain. Or-
It's Spanish.
I don't.
Spanish.
Yeah,
Oh, he's
Spanish,
learning
Spanish.
I like to call it the real Spanish, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, though some dialects are easier to understand and some are harder to understand, there's no like real or fake Spanish. As long as they understand you, it's all that matters. There are different dialects of Spanish that sound better and some that sound worse, but that's dependent on the
I
person.
feel like that's more of a personal opinion.
But that
I
is
do agree on
dependent on it is a personal opinion, and it depends. But in any language, there are dialects that to some people sound worse, and there's dialects to some people that sound better. For example, some people really like British English. I have friends that are learning to speak British English. They like the way it sounds more, they like the culture more, and so they learn it. So it really depends on how you like the sound of the language. But there is no better or worse Spanish. They're just different.
It's different. It's just all different cultures, different tradition.
Yes, we are all
Although
different.
The ulterior motive is just we're all trying to communicate and express each other and express oneself, and and that's how our identity is. We're all here by, what do you call it? We all here speak several languages, 2 languages.
Because
Bilingual.
we're bilingual.
Sorry,
Bilingual?
I forgot that word. Yes. So because we were bilingual, it kind of shaped how our identity is and our interactions with other people. And by learning both languages, we can speak with more people, maybe in other countries, and it's very, very beneficial learning another language for those reasons.
Yeah, personally, I've spoken to people from Spain, Colombia, Argentina, Peru. Also spoke to a girl. She was from Nicaragua.
Nicaragua?
Nicaragua?
Uh-huh.
Yes, I don't remember exactly Panama.
Oh,
Two different
Panama.
places.
There are two very different
Two
countries.
very, very different countries. So yeah, it does allow you to speak with people from all over the world. I've also spoken from people in the Dominican Republic. So I've spoken to a lot of people, a lot more people than I could have spoken to had I only spoken English.
And besides, like, the experience learning, did any, like, outside factors then change the way you learned the language? Like, any friends or teachers, peers?
Well, sadly, my peers were not very helpful at all. In learning Spanish, I really had to do most of the work by myself. I do have to speak about my Spanish teacher that I had for 2 years ago, Ms. Gonzalez, was an excellent teacher, and I still think that she's the only reason that I speak Spanish today. Though a lot of it, you can't learn a language in the classroom. You have to go out of your way. You have to have a connection with the language. You have to know the culture too, because the culture also affects the way that people speak and all that stuff.
And you have to practice it every day.
Consistently.
Yeah,
With other
consistently.
people,
You have
not
to
just
practice.
yourself.
Not yes.
You have to withhold conversations and practice speaking.
Yeah, basically like us. Like
Yeah.
everyone will
And
be
I
able to
think
speak
like, surrounding
Spanish.
yourself with people who also speak it will influence
Yeah,
you to
and
not
also-
only learn it, but also like it'll
Yeah.
help you pick up some words.
And
as well.
also, a very good idea is watching videos or music or other stuff in that language. It really helps, and the more you get involved in that
podcasts in
language,
Spanish.
the more quickly you will learn it.
Rumba.
The final test to be able to see how bilingual you really are. Go to a drive-through of the opposite language. That will determine
That
how
will
good you are.
determine
That's
how
That's
true.
the
good-
final test.
That is
Yeah, like talking about that, there are people who speak completely differently. There's people who speak very clearly, like a person who I follow who speaks very clearly. Begoña Gerpe.
Oh, there she
Very,
is.
very
there
clear.
she is.
Very, very clear, very, very passionate. And then you have people who don't speak as clear, like Don Tomas, that they're harder to understand. That they speak with dialect, and but you have to
Yeah.
understand them all.
Oh, that's very interesting. Are you Begoña Herpes #1 fan?
Not her #1 fan, but I have learned a lot of words from her. I mean, like she's a lawyer. I try to follow people that have to use the language like at a high level. For example, Ruben Gisbert, Juan Ramon Rayo it would be another example. People who speak Spanish at a high level.
Yeah, but we can see Don Tomas. You're learning a lot from him, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like Don Tomas is the
Both
best
different.
right now speaking Spanish.
Don
Like,
Tomas
How many
teaches-
videos you watch like a day from him?
from him. Like I don't have a lot of time to watch videos. I mean, I would watch.
I think yeah.
I watch at least one video of him. Like
One video a day?
You like the
Or
part
one
that he
video a
said
week?
can make a beep 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 beep.
yeah, I watch some of him, but I always try to watch like those people who speak more complicated, higher level Spanish.
Right.
Like another person that I would like to talk about, like that I've learned from. Well, I have his book.
Oh, you have his book. Who
Yes.
is it?
Arturo Pérez Reverte. This man, like his level of Spanish is absolutely incredible. Like he has over 3,500 books just to himself. Like he has total domination of the language. Like
Bárbaro.
I've never seen like someone who speaks Spanish as good as him, and one day I would like to speak just as he does, because I really
So-
admire his.
So he's
So you got
like
goals.
He's your role model.
little role model.
Not necessarily my role model, because
Inspiration?
I don't hear him a lot, but he's my inspiration.
Inspiration.
Aww. That is very cute.
Hey, that's good. That's good.
That's good. I like that you like to involve yourself a lot when you were learning the language, and as you are right now.
And
Do you want to elaborate a little more on that?
I feel like he.
I feel like he's elaborated
He's
quite a bit.
elaborated a lot.
He elaborated too much.
Well, y'all
But
asked
you're
me a lot
good.
of
I like how you express yourself there clearly and concise and
Well, we're going to finish. We're going to do we're actually going to finish in Spanish because we started in English, so te vamos a dar la despedida en español. Así que, ya ve.
Voy a decir la despedida en español. Que tengan una linda tarde.
O mañana.
antes-
O mañana.
O mañana.
antes-
Que la
Cualquier
vemos
día.
pronto.
Pero que la tengas bien.
Ah, ok.
Moviendo adelante, ¿cuál va a ser el siguiente podcast para que los
Muy importante
seguidores?
para que escuchen
Sí.
nuestro otro podcast.
Pues va a ser una sorpresa, pero vamos a hablar de verbos irregulares en inglés y voy a añadir unas cosas
Muy
más.
pendientes que hay invitados.
Y también-
Oh, y
Hay
vamos a
invitados
y
especiales.
ojalá tendremos un invitado especial y espero que os encante
Les encante esa parte.
os encante el invitado que vamos a traer. Lo siento que no es una cosa que vais a aprender de mí, que no puedo transicionar entre los dos idiomas. Es un desafío para mí, pero si estoy hablando, pues no pasa nada.
Y
Bueno.
y ahora, llave, como les estaba diciendo, para terminar.
Pues que tengan una muy bonita tarde, una linda mañana o lo que sea, que el día que escuchen el podcast. Con esto lo dejamos y gracias por escucharnos.
Adiós.
Adiós. Adiós.
Arrivederci.